Assalamu alaikum. Today we're going to talk about Q skills. Level 2 book, Unit 5, page 107, section grammar, and the topic is comparative and superlative adjectives. Right. So basically, comparative adjectives are when we compare two things with one another and describe the difference. We compare them and we describe the difference between two of them, right? So that's what the comparative adjective means. For example, Ahmed is taller than Majid. Ahmed is taller than Majid, right? So this means I'm telling that Ahmed is basically taller than Ahmed, right? And to make it after the adjective, we use then, right? This is what we have to do. For example, look at this sentence here. The Burj Khalifa is taller. So here we are using taller, a comparative form of the adjective tall, and after that we are using then, and we are comparing Burj Khalifa, Taipei 101. All right, so this is how it works, and this is what it means. And remember this: two things. It's the comparison and the description of difference between two things, right? So this is, keep in mind this. And here we have some examples: tall, taller, safe, safer, big, and bigger. Now the question is how you make tall into taller, right? So what you need to do is to use, for example, this is an adjective. So if it's a one syllable adjective, add er. So it's a one syllable adjective, add er with it. How to find that if it's a one syllable, two syllable, and three syllable? Syllables are basically the sounds of the vowels. Sound of the vowels. You know that we have vowels A, E, I, O, U, right? And we also consider Y as a vowel as long as it sounds like same like the vowels, like A, E, I, O, U, right? For example, like word fry. In fry, at the end, Y is I sound like fry, so I. So basically, it's a syllable, right? So that's how, if it sounds like the vowels, then we consider it a vowel, right? So that's all. So if we look here, so we have only a, ta, to, o sound here, the A, E, I, O. So a sound here. So one syllable here. We have in this one syllable. Here we have one syllable, right? And we need to add ER with it if it's one syllable, right? ER. So one syllable here, we add ER here. Safer, E is already here but is silent, right? So we need to add only R here. And big, as the ejective ends in one vowel and one consonant. So this one here, I is a vowel and G is a consonant, right? So if it's at the end, in the end, if it's a consonant, you have to double the consonant. Consonant are the rest of the alphabets, like A, E, I, O, U, and Y, and rest of the consonants, and sometimes Y, not many, consider it Y as a vowel. And rest of the alphabets, they are all consonants. For example, B, C, D, F, G, H, and so on and so forth, right? Like these are consonants. So this here is a vowel, and then vowel, and after that is a consonant. So double the consonant here. That's why I already told you how to make it, right? Next here is for most ejectives with two or more syllables, use more. So with the comparative ejectives, we can use more with the ejectives to make it a comparative ejective, right? But most of the ejectives with two or more syllables. Here, two syllables, come, one, two syllables, right? So we use more common. Here we have tradition. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 syllables, more traditional. Right? For 2 syllable adjectives that end in LE, add R. You see that there are 2 syllables here, and when we look at here, we have 1 syllable here, and there is 1 syllable here. Whenever there is this LE, we take it as a syllable. Remember this. Even though we take it that if it's silent, but there's a sound like this at the end, so this is a vowel sound, so we take it as a syllable. So that's why there are 2 syllables, and this one here we add R with it, and simpler. For 2 syllables adjectives that end in Y, change the Y to, and we have here 1 syllable and 1 syllable, 2 syllables, but these 2 syllables at Y, so we need to change Y into IER. So pretty becomes prettier, and funny becomes funnier. Alright, so that's how you can change it, and you can understand how actually you can change adjectives into comparative adjectives, right? And then we go to next up. We have here superlative adjectives, right? Superlative adjectives when we compare more than 2 things, like when you describe 3 or more things, right? Meaning more than 2. and you compare with so that's how you and that's where you use adjective when you're comparing and describing more than two things, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatnot, right? So whenever you're doing this, you can use superlative adjectives. For example, here, tall and the tallest, right? So remember this with this superlative adjectives, we have to use the, and then the adjective, right, after that. Here est for this situation here, right, for this situation when there is a one syllable here, you can, when there's a one syllable like this, you can use est with it. But you have to use the. This is very important to use the. All right, so again back we have to go back again to just understand superlative adjectives first. So superlative adjectives, for example, this one here, tallest, so the tallest, and say Ahmed is the tallest boy in the classroom. So Ahmed, now we're comparing Ahmed with the rest of the class, meaning comparing more than two boys, right? Like in the previous case when we talked about comparative adjective, and Ahmed is taller than Majid, but here we are saying Ahmed is the tallest boy in the class. So it means that out of all the boys, Ahmed is the tallest one. So that's what the superlative adjective means, right? And when here again, one syllable here, so we have one syllable here, one syllable here, and one syllable here, right? And here you can use est here, and double the G, right? And E is already here, so st here. For two syllable adjectives that end in L, use the and st. So simple, simplest, the simplest. For two syllable adjectives that end in Y, change the Y to I, use the and add est, right? So two syllables, funny, and becomes funniest. For most adjectives with two or more syllables, the most adjectives, right? So two or more syllables other than these, right? So most of the adjectives who are two or more syllables, but not like these, right? Like this one here, this one here, this one here. Like informal, right? Informal, we have in, for, now we have three syllables, right? So the most, remember this, it's very important to use the with it, and here with most, so the most informal, and here realistic, we have realistic, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 syllables here. And traditional, we have already done that. Traditional, we have traditional. So we have four syllables here also. So the most traditional, right? So the most realistic. All right. Some of the and the next stop is some adjectives are irregular. Some adjectives are irregular, and like for example, good and bad. Good becomes better. This is the comparative form, and the best is the superlative form of the adjective. Bad becomes worse, comparative, and the worst is the superlative. Right, so that's how some of the adjectives are irregular also, right? For this you need to consult the dictionary and find out which one are the irregular adjectives, and after that you can memorize all all of these adjectives with you. All right, next up here, okay, here we have complete the paragraph with the words from the box, change them into comparative forms. So what you need to do is to just change them into comparative form, remember this, and then fill in the blanks. For example, big here, right? So you can go here, go back here and find out what's the comparative form for big, and then you can put it here accordingly. Next up, you look at the adjectives in the chart below. Complete the chart with the missing forms of each adjective. So what you need to do is, this one is already done for you. Exciting, this is an adjective. You have to find out how many syllables are they. To find how many syllables, you need to find out the vowel sounds there. How many vowel sounds are there, right? So after that you can it's easier for you to make comparative and superlative after that. So for example, here this exciting, right? So it has 3 syllables, right? So 3 syllables. What you need to do here is, of course, when you go back, so comparative, more exciting, and because 3 more than 3, right? And superlative is the most exciting, right? So that's how it's easier for you to find out how to make comparative and superlative. Next up here is complete each sentence with the correct comparative form of the adjective in parentheses, right? So what you need to do is to here parentheses, right? So you need to complete fill in the blanks with the correct form, and complete each sentence with the correct superlative form of the adjective in parentheses and your own opinions, right? Then discuss. Alright, so that's what you have to do, like this in parentheses, right? So what you need to do is to just like this, interesting, right? So basketball, the most interesting, right? So here you have to have your own idea, and then delicious, right? For example here, so you have to put here the superlative form, and here you need to use your own opinion, right? What is, for example, what is delicious? What is the most delicious food in the world, right? So you have to write it here. Alright guys, so this is it, right? So if any problem, you can ask your teacher in the virtual class, and thank you. Assalamu alaikum.